Hi guys, it's Jessica
and Stacy.
and today we're going to be telling you about our Chicago Magcon experience. Pretty much we got there Saturday at around 3:30 and we were lined up in the merch line and all of a sudden all the boys start popping out like in the balcony above us, and this was the first time we were seeing them in person, so I think it's pretty safe to say that I was freaking out a little bit. And
Everybody was.
yeah, everybody was going crazy. So while we were in the merch line, we actually met Bart, and he was really nice. I just thanked him for coming or bringing MagCon to Chicago because, we wouldn't be able to meet any of these people without him. After all of that, we pretty much just got settled into our hotel room. While we were bringing our luggage out from the car, we met Chad Greer, which is Nash and Hayes' dad.
And he was kind of awkward too. He kind of didn't know how to deal with all the screaming girls, but he was so a very nice guy.
Pretty much while we were just hanging out in the hotel while MagCon was going on, we were just going from floor to floor. We had a room on the 7th floor, which was kind of high, and the entire first floor was blocked off because that's how you got to the conference rooms and all that. So pretty much we just went on the 2nd floor, and we were looking in the conference room, and all of the guys were in there just eating food, and we were just standing there oh my god, they're right there. And Cameron waved to us, which Cam's my fave, so that was pretty great. Yeah. And then pretty much since we didn't have tickets for Saturday's MagCon, we just hung out the rest of the night. We went down to the lobby and looked into the room that MagCon was actually happening in because the doors weren't shut. And we saw Nash on stage, and we just hung out in our hotel room until it ended. And pretty much after that, we just stood in the hallways all night waiting for them to come out. We did not sleep at all. We stayed awake for 40 straight hours, and
yeah,
it ended up paying off because we saw them so many times. And pretty much we were in the hallways, and all of them came out of the rooms, and they were just walking around on all of the floors. And so since they were on the 11th floor, and the 11th floor was completely blocked off, you couldn't get to it at all, we just went to the 10th floor, and Cameron was in his little wheelchair standing over the balcony, so we were all trying to look up to the floor above us, and we were talking to him, and he was throwing plants, pieces of plants off the balcony, and he was joking around holding the entire plant over it, acting like he was going to drop it. And that's pretty much how it went for hours and hours, just running around talking to them over the balcony. And at one point, Jacob Whitesides was FaceTiming someone, and so he was singing into the phone, and I was like, ooh, you know.
And he's so sweet. They're just hi, Jacob. He's
I know. I was
hi.
I was Jacob. He looked at me. I was hi. He's hi. We're just all cute and innocent. So around 2:00 in the morning, Matt's dad came onto our floor because he saw a sign and he wanted to check it out and see what was written on it. And pretty much we just sat there for 20 or 30 minutes. We were talking about so much, just how he can't believe how far MagCon has come, how this truly is the next big thing.
Yeah.
And we also gave him an index card with our Twitter names on it. And I told him that I would really appreciate it if he gave it to Matt. And he said, that Matt would appreciate us. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Later in the night, probably around 4:30 in the morning, me and her were laying down trying to get some sleep, which obviously wasn't going to happen. After 10 minutes of us trying to sleep, our friend runs into the room. She goes, oh my god, Jack and Jack just said hi to me. They just talked to me. So of course we all get up after our 10 minutes of trying to fall asleep, and we go out in the hallway, and at first it was just me and her, and we're standing there, and out of nowhere, water just comes pouring down on us. And we were like, what the heck is that? So we look over and we see shirtless Cam, shirtless Nash, Jack and Jack all like running around trying to be like ninjas or something with their little water guns.
Pulling like James Bond moves, like crawling on the floor and stuff.
And so I, of course, run into the hotel room. I'm like, Stacy, they just squirted water at us.
And I was still sleeping. Like when I got out there, the balcony was right by our room, and Cameron and Jack were talking to them, like whispering, and like trying to like get our attention. And it turns out they were distracting us because a couple seconds later, I don't know where it comes this huge splash of water, and Nash was right above us, spraying us with a water gun.
And Jack even tweeted about this. He tweeted, sniping fans with water guns, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was us! And pretty much, like, while we were talking to them, there weren't that many fans outside on the balcony, so
everybody was sleeping.
They were, like, looking at us, because there was a group of about 6 or 7 of us, and so we were like, come here, like, we want to meet you. And Cameron goes like this, like,
come to our
like,
floor.
You come here. And so we go up to the 11th floor where they're staying, and, you know, we're trying to talk to security
guard.
And security goes, well, whether he told you that or not, I can't let you onto the floor. They all went into Nash's hotel room, and we went up to the 11th or the 12th floor because we had a better view of the rooms that way. And all of a sudden, like, the door opens, and I'm like, guys, like, Cameron's coming out of the room. Let's go over there. So he comes out of the room on his wheelchair, and he's just sitting there. And at this point, the only thing he's wearing are, like, basketball shorts.
and I was like, oh, Cameron, hey, come to our room, 742. We have pizza. He goes, oh, is it fresh pizza? I was like, no, it's from earlier. He's like, oh, that sucks, because I'm really hungry and I want food.
And then I was like, well, I have a granola bar. And then the girls on the 10th floor were talking to him too. So after, like, us talking for about 10 minutes, just about, like, random crap and him saying that he was hungry, he's like, oh, like, bring me food and I'll meet you by the elevators. So he starts wheeling over to the elevators, and all of us dart to the elevator on our floor, and we, like, start pressing the button. We're like, come on, this elevator needs to hurry up. Like, he's going over there right now to meet all of us.
Yeah.
And so we get to the 11th floor, and Cameron's just, like, chilling there with a pizza box on his lap in his wheelchair, shirtless, and yeah. We were just kind of sitting there for a few seconds, and then he goes, so who wants to wheel me back to my room? And of course all of us are like, me. Like, hello. We all start walking him back to his room, or wheeling him back to his room. And he's just, like, sitting there talking to all of us. And the girl who's, like, pushing the wheelchair turns around. She's like, oh my God, what is happening? Because we were all kind of still mind blown. There was only about 15 to 20 of us. And I took a video of us wheeling him back to the room.
Alright, did you go all the way inside? Oh, do you want like Oreos or something?
I have a granola bar.
You're like, here, just take them off.
Take everything we have.
I'm probably gonna eat all of it. It's alright.
Can you please go to sleep after this? Because you're gonna like pass out.
I should have it.
Oh, we're not even tired yet. That's sad.
We were up all night waiting for you guys. We've been up all night.
Yeah. That does
That's, yeah, we sound bad when we say that.
We're up all night.
I woke up at 5 this morning and I haven't slept once since.
Oh my god, it's fucking real. What the fuck?
I was such a test
It's fucking real.
Thursday night, I got 1 hour of sleep.
sorry.
When we got to his room, like, a girl mentioned Puma and how she knew what it actually meant. And he's like, what does it actually mean? And she told him. And he was like, where did you get that from? And I was like, it's all over the internet. Like, that's what everybody thinks it means. And Cameron goes, no, me and Nash are the only people who truly know what it means. So I guess not even the other guys know what it means. So
Not even Carter.
I was like, so what does it mean? And he was like, I can't tell you. And then I also was like, yeah, I feel bad. Like, I'm sorry because we're bothering you and you're probably tired. He's like, I don't get why girls do that. He's like, like in elevators and stuff, they'll always be like, I'm sorry for bothering you, but you're not sorry. I was just like, yeah. Yeah, I know.
Alright.
Just give it
Give it to me.
someone
And then give it to me.
Can you say it to me?
Thank you, thank you.
No problem.
Oh, your foot.
Y'all want to see it?
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's so nasty.
Disgusting.
Ew.
How
Ew.
deep was it? Can I see?
It was an inch. Was
When
it?
it get
Ew.
I stepped on my hand with ice.
Stitches out?
Ew.
Actually, it was our pizza, but I stepped on my hand with ice and it sliced through my whole entire finger.
And then he started passing his phone around for people to follow themselves. Like, he had his Twitter pulled open, and he was like, y'all can keep going until my phone dies, and he had 3% left. So they're passing it around, and of course, right before I get his phone, it dies. And I was like, crap, how am I supposed to get a follow now? Like, cam follows are impossible. So him being the sweetest person ever, he goes and grabs his charger and plugs his phone in so that we can keep following ourselves. And so he plugs it in and he hands it to my friend, and she follows herself, and then she hands the phone to me. And I'm sitting there like with Cameron's phone in my hand. I'm like, okay, I have to follow my personal. Now I have to follow my O2L account. And then I followed both of her accounts because she was all the way in the back, and me and my friend were standing in his hotel room. And I was like, okay, I need to make sure I follow like the accounts that I need to follow. So after about 30 seconds, I handed it back to him. And then my friend was like, oh, can I take a picture with you? And he was like, yeah, sure. So he gets up out of his little chair and he goes to pose, and he's like, wait. He's
I can't take pictures in my room.
I can't take pictures in my hotel room because, like, you know how that would go if people make up stories and stuff. So he gets on his little wheelie, like, electric scooter thingy, and he, like, turns it around and then stands up and starts taking pictures with all of us. And
he, like, made us, like, line up in the hallway, like, right outside his room. Then, like, as we were all, like, in line, she was up in the front of the line.
Yeah, me and my friend were the first 2 people in line, so...
And I was towards the back.
We took pictures with him, and then we started walking away, and then...
And so then I was just, like, chilling in the line, like, waiting to take my picture with Cameron. And out of nowhere, you just hear people saying, oh, hi, Nash, hi, Nash. And I turn around, and Nash is walking towards Cameron's room, shirtless, and his hair is wet because he just got out of the shower. And he had the most confused look on his face. It was so funny. He did not know what was going on at all.
After we met Cam, it was 6-something in the morning, and we weren't about to go back to sleep because we had to start lining up for Magcon in a few hours. And so we just went downstairs and we got Starbucks. After we got Starbucks, we just went and got ready. And then we waited in line because we had priority tickets, and pretty much we were, like, the first 10 people in line. They were coming out, like, on their floor, like, waving and stuff, and I think that was the day they filmed the Vine where it was like, oh, like, typical white girl.
Yeah,
they held out the Starbucks, and all of us screamed. And so pretty much they let us in at 4 o'clock. They were on time with letting us in that day. And we were in the first row. They came out, like, Jack and Jack performed Distance and Flights, and then Jacob was singing, and Andrew Bozzi performed, and so did Willie, but he performed later on that day. And we were all, like, sitting in the first row, and then Jack Jelinski's dad came and was, like, dancing and then took pictures with some of the girls next to us. And I didn't ask for a picture because I'm stupid. And then all of a sudden, like, Willie comes over.
Okay, so Willie ran over, and he was, like, kind of running down the line, like, past the stage, and, like, handing out little cards with his face on them that he signed. And unknowingly, she grabbed one, and I didn't know it was her. I thought it was a girl next to her, and I was reaching for it, and I already had my hand on it. I felt somebody, like, grab me to pull it away, and I, like, ripped it, and I actually ripped it out of her hands.
She ripped it out of my hands.
No, but then I asked her if she wanted it. She's like, oh, no, you can keep it. So, I ended up getting a card that had Willie's signature on it.
So pretty much they just let us in, and then we put our t-shirts on the table for them all to sign, and Jacob Whitesides and Aaron Carpenter were first, so we, like, pulled our shirts all the way to the front, and they went through and signed them, And then Nash and Taylor came over and signed all of our shirts.
Thank you, Erin. Hey, Nash. Thank you.
We had to go take pictures, and pretty much I walked up to Jacob and I hugged him and we took the picture. And then I was like, so Jacob, how can I DM you on Twitter when you don't follow me? I was like, is there a secret or something? He's like, I can't tell you. And then Aaron was like still signing stuff, so it took him a second to walk over to me. So he walks up and I give him a hug, and like I didn't expect him to do it back, but I like put my arm around him like to do a hugging picture, and he did it back, so I was like, hey. And then we switched.
And then, okay, so then I walked up to Jacob and it's like, oh, hi, Jacob. He's like, hi. And I give him a hug, and he gives really good hugs. He's like one of those people who like squeeze you back when he gives you a hug. And then I turned to Aaron and I was like, oh, hi, Aaron. He's like, hi, thanks so much for coming out tonight. And I was like, it's no problem. And I gave him a hug and he gave me a hug back. And he is the type of person to give you a hug and like rub your back and squeeze you. And it was great. And so then I took my picture and then I gave each of them hugs again. And I was like, bye. And Aaron's like, thanks again for coming out. And I was like, it's no problem. Where's Aaron? Aaron.
So after we met Jacob and Aaron, the next people that we were supposed to meet are Nash and Taylor. And we walked up to the line, and when it was my turn, I went up and I hugged Taylor and then hugged Nash. And you could tell that both of them were tired because neither of them were like fully there. Like Taylor was kind of off in his own little world, like kind of just staring around, which is understandable because they probably got just as much sleep as we did. I mean,
at that point, it was probably like maybe 10 or 10:30.
Yeah, so. It was late. And so I just hugged both of them, and then we posed, and I looked over at Nash. I was like, yeah, thanks for drenching me with water at 5 o'clock in the morning. And he was like really confused, like, what? I was like, with the water guns. He goes, oh, and then like starts laughing. I was like, oh, he's so cute. And then we switched again.
And I walked up to Nash, and they were both kind of just like really quiet. They didn't really say much, but I honestly am not upset about it. I could tell they were tired and that they just wanted to like go to sleep, and it was getting towards the end of the line. So I just like gave Nash a hug, gave Taylor a hug, and took my picture, and I was just like, thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hug.
Yeah, that
after we met Nash and Taylor, we walked up in front of the stage because we had to wait in line to meet Jack and Jack. So Mahogany was just there, and then Nick Swenson comes out and he says, like, oh, like, we just blew a circuit and there was no music. So they started, like stomping on the stage, and we were singing Boyfriend, and then they tried singing the Cameron Dallas song, but me and, like, one other person are the only people who actually knew what it was. Like, I was singing it, and then everybody else was kind of like, yeah, yeah. And so they stopped that, and then we took a picture with Willie, Andrew Bozzi, and then Mahogany, because they were all on stage, and yeah.
Mahogany was just kind of like standing around doing her own thing.
So after that, we were waiting in Jack and Jack's line, and when we got up to the table, we put our t-shirts down and had them sign them.
I bought 2 ring pops, one for each of us. I walked up to Jack Dolinsky and I like held it up to him and I was like, will you propose to me? And he was like confused for a second. Like, I don't think he got it, but like then it clicked. He's like, oh yeah, sure. And he like got down on his knee and we like posed for the picture. And then he got up and like hugged me. And then he like turned around and he's like, oh, do you want this back? I was like, sure. And then I took a picture with Jack Johnson and hugged him, and then we switched.
And I walked up to them, and the song Talk Dirty to Me was playing in the background. So I'm standing there like dancing, singing along. Jack Johnson's doing the Bernie. And so I'm standing up, about to walk up to Jack Jelinski, and he's just staring me in the eyes. And it was right at the part where, for the first time in the song, it goes, talk dirty to me. So I looked at him, I was like, talk dirty to me. And he kind of giggled. And I went up to him, and I gave him, like, a really big hug. And it was, like, a longer hug than I expected. Like, at the time, it felt like it lasted forever. But I was like, I'll take it. So we hugged, and then I took like a hugging picture with him, and then Jack Johnson was still signing autographs. So we were just standing there with like our arms around each other for a few seconds, and he was like rubbing my back, kind of like scratching it because he was like using the tips of his fingers. I don't know. It's hard to explain. And then Jack Johnson walked over, and we all posed for a picture. And then I told him how we were the ones that he was attacking with water guns, and he just kind of laughed.
So then after that, like, we got in another line. But while we were waiting in that line, after they finished their whole line, they were just, like, standing around talking, and people kept walking up to them and taking selfies.
So I ran up to him, and then I gave him an index card with all of our Twitters on it. And I was like, can I take a picture with you? He was like, yeah, like, of course. So he put, like, the index card in his backpack, and we took a picture. And then I ran back to the line, and then I saw that Jack Johnson was taking pictures with people. So I was like, okay, well, I can't miss this opportunity. So I walk up to him, and then some girls, like, telling him about, like, this weird joke. He did, like, the most fake laugh ever. It was so funny. He was like, oh, ha ha, yeah. And then after that, we took the picture, and then she ran up and took pictures with them.
I was like, oh, hey, can I get a selfie real quick? He's like, yeah, sure. I was like, I'm really sorry. I know you're tired and you want to go to sleep, but thank you so much. And I took a picture with him, and my phone was on Snapchat instead of my camera, and I did not realize and accidentally deleted it. So that made me upset. But then I took a picture with Jack Jelinski, and he just like had his arm around me, and he was so sweet. And I was like, thanks so much. I know you're tired, but thank you. He's like, oh, it's no problem. Thanks for coming.
One thing I want to point out so that we don't look bad is that even though they all seemed tired, all of them went to Sky High afterwards and were jumping on trampolines. So
at 3 o'clock in the morning.
They pushed through it. Okay, after we met Jack and Jack, Carter and Matt were next. And they were kind of like, you know, like wanting to just finish and get through the line.
Yeah.
So they announced over the microphone that they were just going to take selfies with everybody and go down the line. And so they were just going down the line, and I took a picture with Matt, and he ended up not signing my shirt, which is okay, but kind of sucked because I was like, no. And then I went up to Carter, and like I gave Matt my our Twitter names too, and then I went up to Carter and we posed for pictures. And as I was taking the selfies, like I kind of took a lot of them, so he was making different faces and he was like, swag.
And then Matt came up to me and I was like, thanks so much, Matt. Can I get a hug real quick? He's like, oh yeah, sure. He gave me a hug. And we took a selfie, and then I was like, thanks again. I love you. And he gave me another hug, and then he like moved on. And then when it came to Carter, I like had my shirt on the table, so he signed my shirt real quick. So I went over to Carter and I like gave him a hug, and then he moved back on down the line. But he was so sweet about it.
Yeah, and then they all like, both of them went on the microphone and were like, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. All that stuff. After we met Carter and Matt, it was finally time to see Cameron again. And we were waiting in the line, and at this point it was 11 o'clock at night, so they were like rushing, and they kept saying 10 minutes, and then this lady went up to Cameron and was like, you need to hurry up. And so it's finally time for us to meet him. I walk up to him and I give him a hug, and then I looked at him. I was like, I really want to thank you for everything that you've done, just because like Cameron is a really caring person. He's constantly like calling his fans gorgeous and beautiful and just doing everything that he possibly can to make people happy. And I was like, you know, you mean a lot to me. And I got the phone ready and I was about to take a picture. He's like, y'all mean a lot to me too. And so we take the pictures and he's making all these weird faces. And then I didn't even go in for a second hug. He pulled me in. And so he gave me like this really nice long hug. And I was like, I love you. He's like, I love you too. And then she met him.
And so I walked up to him and I was like, hey Cameron, thanks for meeting us at 6 o'clock in the morning. I know you were tired, but thanks. It really means a lot. I don't think he heard me because he didn't respond. And so I gave him a hug, and then I had my phone and I was like, I wanted to say, Cameron, can we take a silly selfie? But I ended up saying, Cameron, can we take a silly selfie? And I started laughing. He's like, yeah, sure. So we took a selfie, and then I gave him another hug. And then after that, I just kind of left, you know, because I wanted to let other people get their turn because they had been waiting a long time too. But he was just so nice about everything, and he was the last person out of all of them to stay and meet everybody.
Yeah, he was the last one in the room.
All right, y'all, get your selfie game on. All right, turn your selfie game on. Hey, Colby, sing me a song.
Okay, who's next?
It's to go.
You go, Cameron. 11.
I'm good.
Yes, 11.
You're good. I'm good.
1-1 dozen.
Thanks for meeting us this morning, Cameron.
Bye. So, kid.
Where is it? You need to get it. You need to get it because I'm passing and going.
but she has to get it and bring it down here. Okay.
Show the camera.
One item, only one.
He said that I could have two.
What we come?
Okay.
Where's it at?
You signed up all?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Bye bye, ladies. Next.
Bye, Cameron.
All right, bye bye.
Overall, like, Magcon was so amazing. I think the fact that we stayed in the hotel made it better because we saw them so much more than we would have if we just went that day. And I would definitely recommend staying in the hotel if you ever go. Like, just go with a ton of your friends. Like,
And
have
split the cost.
Yeah, have them pitch in money because I only paid $25 and I got to see them all night, which was
It was totally worth it.
It was more than I could have asked for. And if like Magcon ever comes near your city, you need to go because it's not like any other concert. It's not like any other meet and greet. Like, even though you're sitting there for so long, you truly have such a good time. Like, just hanging out with people, dancing to the music, like watching the performances. It's so much fun.
And you get to meet a lot of people there too. And I feel like we met more people at the hotel than we did at the actual event. Like, more fans, and you make more friends that way. And it just adds to the experience.
Yeah, both of us got the Cameron Dallas hoodie. And then the Magcon shirt, which I'm going to show right now. It's just a goofy picture of them all. And I actually have some of the signatures on here, but you can't really see all of them. And pretty much overall, Magcon was just amazing. And I want to thank you guys for watching. That was our entire experience. And hopefully you guys can have an experience like this in the future.
It was one of the best weekends of my life. So
definitely, if they come back, I will be going.
Yep.
You should too. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.